Yes. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. All right, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. Super. Yes, excellent, excellent. It says excellent there. Super, okay. Are the stream VODs available? Yeah, they are available on my YouTube channel, I believe. If I remember well. Give me a second. If you go to my YouTube, which is Programmer Network, and then you go to videos, I guess. Or no, you go to live maybe. Yeah. It's right here. Yeah. That's where you can find them. Alrighty guys, cool. Thank you very much. As I promised today when I streamed, I said I'm gonna join again, and that's what's happening now. So we're gonna continue that for a little while more, and then we're gonna focus on building our harness. Let me just close up some of the things. Yeah, no longer necessary, I guess. This is already implemented, kind of, I guess. Did I actually start this on GitHub? Let's see. No, I did not. Okay. This was actually pretty good. So I'm gonna close that. Gonna close that. Gonna leave that. Gonna close that, I guess. Actually, we're gonna need. Yeah, we're gonna need to draw again. So let's keep that. And okay, we're good. Okay. So no, I mean, I just didn't stream for half a year. I mean, I'm not a regular streamer, right? I might stream now and then I might stream again in 3 months. I never know, right? So no, they do not delete. It's just yeah, it's just that, you know, I'm not a content creator. I just do this for fun, and you know, I mean, Twitch is not beneficial to me in any way other than having fun with you guys, right? But it's a complete waste of time, right? I mean, financially or in any other, I mean, financial sense, it's a complete waste of time, right? It's completely absurd. So it's just right? So, you know, hopefully I will stream now for a couple of days, but yeah, I'm not definitely not gonna stream, you know, every week or something like that. You know? I mean, the platform itself doesn't incentivize you to do that, right? Basically, you're supposed to do consulting for free, pretty much, right? Okay, so let me just go a little bit and just evaluate a couple of things, because I did kind of made it very strict. So we have the tools, they have a specific schema, which I believe is in fact some sort of standardized schema. We have LSP tools, we have agent types, we have index, modal agents. So we'll probably need to draw this a little bit, constitution. So yeah, it's not too much code, I guess. Okay, I see. I see. These are just the basic tools, inference, okay. Yeah, this is our model, our local provider, defaults. Chica, my friend, good evening again. Thank you for coming, dude. File system, read files. Is this synchronous? No, it's safe. Okay, good. Guards. All right, so just some basic utils. Extract JSON, another util. Scope is scope, another. Okay, so basically bunch. Yeah, okay, well, we are in the lib folder. We have the LSP, and then it's just an abstraction over a couple of LSP methods, if you will. Okay. So apparently Sako, so it was kind of already there. I mean, the thing is, right? Like when it comes to grep and when it comes to some of these Rust written things that you send, I mean, that is not even like 0.1% of the time we're waiting for right now, right? So I mean, time will tell when I start building full-fledged end-to-end things, like how much right now the time spent in some of these operations, it doesn't matter if it was written in HTML, right? If it was possible. So I couldn't measure that in any meaningful way to attribute any timing issues there, right? Because we work now, the tests that we're running are like 10 files tests, right? No, I mean, I think it was initially already used, so there's not much difference, right? We have a LSP server now as well. But all of the tests, I mean, I made a lot of progress since last night, mostly off stream, right? Okay, this is just for the judge, basically. This is just for the... But yeah, I think things were getting better and better. Things were getting better and better for sure. I don't actually know what are the... let me maybe... maybe I should find something. So, but I think in this stream today, we're most likely gonna just then build a CLI part of the harness, right? But let's see what is... So let's see, I think it's doing this one now. 892. So it's doing money 89829, or was it 829? Yes, it's doing this one now, I believe, right? Quality attempt 2, no gain. So it kind of, the eval didn't move the needle much. Now rerun the noise probe, and the same entities to validate critique should stop flagging compiler required guards, and overall should it reflect the weakest access. I'm actually not quite sure. Yeah, okay. So it's just massaging the prompt now for the judge. We'll move away from this in a moment, and then we need to kind of get the harness to the kind of version, let's say 0.5 or 0.1, so I can then actually try using it in the way that I intended, and then so you could say we need to move to the different level of complexity now. So let's allow it to run this test. And then we move away from here. Okay, once you are done with that test, I think it's time that we focus on the awesome CLI experience. So I can start battle testing this properly through the CLI interface and not through these very static MD files. No, I'm paying. So this thing in the right is Hermes. So this is, I'm paying for it directly. I'm sending basically directly to China. So you can't run DeepSeek locally. I mean, not the pro version, right? That's like 500, whatever. It's some absurd number of parameters, right? You would need a whole proper data center at home to run that. But they have some light. So this is version 4 Pro, as you can see here. So I'm not running that here. I'm paying for it. So as you can see now, we're basically running just a test against one of the previous things that we had. Over this one, I actually don't know where exactly is the std out, or whether it's just going over this file and trying to figure it out. But yeah, let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so it's this one, yeah. Eight nine two one. 8921. Yeah, it's this one, yeah. Quality 4. Functionality correct and well structured, but contains redundant, undefined checks on pre-initialized arrays and relies on default locale formatting, which may not guarantee the expected output across environments. Yeah. So that's maybe gonna become problematical. Again, Sako, I mean, it's hard to tell yet, right? I think, I mean, it's using that library for everything, right? For editing and stuff. So I mean, you could say that it did improve, but I think now once we now kind of lift the complexity of this a bit more, then we'll see, right? Once I give it the whole repo and say, right? So I think it will surface up. We just need to be patient, because so far a lot of these things have been very primitive, right? Or at least primitive to a huge degree. So we'll see in a moment what happens. Just waiting for this fucking run to finish already. Yeah, so I'm not actually seeing that it does anything. Let's see. I'm not seeing it doing much, or at least it's not writing to std out anymore. So maybe it's doing something else now. Okay, I'm seeing some output somewhere, but it's not stding it out here, so I actually don't know where it's doing it. All right, let's see. The judge is not noisy. I measured at 5x on a fixed money. This gave identical scores, range 0. My earlier noise was real code differences across runs, not the instrument. The real defect was calibration. The judge flagged redundant undefined checks that are actually compiler required under no unchecked index access, and quality repair feeds that critique back, so it told the model to delete required guards. I added the anchored rubric, blah blah blah. Don't penalize required guards, do penalize inferable annotations. Before we move into CLI, let's round up the things that we're still missing. What is happening, man, with my Kubernetes? Give me 1 second. Where's the Discord? Jesus Christ, man. Why is my... I need to really ask Hermes to look at that now. Programmer network. Notifications. Alerts. My read for CLI battle testing, specifically the two things that will bite you live are the malformed tool call stalls, ideally fixed server-side, and the interruptible resumable wiring. CLI product direction invariant needs verifying the abort signal thread cleanly. Quality levers are then make the output nicer but unblock. Want me to quickly resolve in flight. I feel that we have to take a step back, figure out the work that we have started and not finished, then recap. Because I think that is probably the only problem that's kind of tough to fix for us, and that is malformed tool calls, because I think it happens. It happens on our DGX Spark, and it happens because of these MT multi-token prediction thing, MTP, and how we're actually no, it's not this, no. Alright, well, let's go back here and see. I think we're doing this already, that's the problem. CLI surface show when salvage kicks in. The real build design question is for me. Yeah, this is very important, obviously, for a harness. I guess we should do the aborts once we start the proper CLI work. Yes, we can commit the judge. And I believe that my model is already using the proper tool parser. All right, fair enough. Okay. Real replicate, bring constitution supplies, DS, TypeScript compiler plus CS limit test when the target repo lags them. Exactly, good. That's what it's the initial plan. Salvage counter surface, visible misbehavior signal, yes. After the CLI, other CLI pros out, playmaker, yes. Before I build a slice, one shape question so I don't guess wrong. How do you imagine involving this Forge run repo? We'll invoke it like any other harness. The UX has to follow all harness, the standard harness functionality, things that our people already used to. Additionally, it's like compact and all others. I recently acquired Claude Sub. Until now, I only used Cursor. Getting started with Claude is proving a bit complicated. I mean, I don't think it's any complicated. It's just another agent, just like Cursor. You don't need any skills. You can just start using it and then set up some skills when you feel that you're repeating the same things over again, etc. A skill is just a README file, right? And potentially some scripts that are executed, right? So skill is not magic, it's just more text. Hey, you've been watching the channel now for a while. I want to thank you for inspiring me to become a better programmer. My pleasure, man. Also a question, what kind of LLMs do you use and how do you manage them? I think you're probably referring to agents. I mean, my workflow is very simple. I used all the modern tools, right? Claude Code, Codex, and all of these things. But I use them as companions rather than some autonomous things that run, you know, without me. So, you know, you use them to complement your work rather than. Do you think that the demand for data engineers will increase in the coming years as AI adoption continues to grow? I don't think that anybody knows, man, like predictions for the future right now. I think if you're following any content creators and stuff, just take everything with a grain of salt. Whether something is gonna go up or down, nobody knows. Even people who are running the world, they don't know, right? So I mean, I can give you my opinion, but you know, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, right? So I don't know, man. I hope that they will. But you know, that would be just a personal opinion rather than anything that you can. It's hard to predict right now that necessity for any roles is gonna grow, right? I wish I can tell you something more concrete, but nobody knows that. And if somebody claims that they do, they're lying. Mattok, hey buddy, I'm building the harness I'm building the harness on a DGX Spark here on my own server. So we're working with the local model now. We're working with Qwen 3.6 35 billion parameters, so we're running that now. So I'm building the harness for it, just like harness like Claude Code or PyDev or whatever. We're building the harness for it that's specialized in TypeScript, basically. So and now we're gonna build a CLI. So far, past 3 or 4 days, I've been running tests on it 24/7. So it's been building apps. And then yeah, actually I didn't pin the boring stack. You guys should. I recently also released boring stack. Actually there, yeah, you get a message. But let me just pin it. I forgot to pin it. I'm sorry for that spam right there, but that's what it is. Do you guys think software developers will still be relevant in 20 years the way AI agents are evolving? I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't think that way. I don't. My brain doesn't work that way, right? What's gonna happen in 20 years is no. I mean, what's gonna happen in a year in relation to anything? Nobody knows, right? So I think you would be way better off not thinking that way, right? What's gonna happen in 20 years, in 5 years, in 3 years, right? This is not what you should be. You should be focusing on building yourself up every day and fighting battles that are fightable. And what's gonna happen in 20 years is beyond anyone's reach, especially yours and mine, right? So As I always say, rather focus on yourself and things you can affect. This is basic philosophy, right? That's 3,000 years old from, Socrates and Marcus Aurelius and Cicero, right? So I would say focus on things that are within your reach and don't spend too much energy about things that you have no control over, right? Greetings to you as well, Dream Traveling. What complementary skill would you pivot toward? There's no such thing in life as completely indispensable. We are all very dispensable, both companies or individuals, so such skill doesn't exist. The best skill you can build up in life is becoming proactive, not reactive, and being obsessed by providing value no matter where you work. So your job isn't to write code, your job is to build things that people want to pay for. So for example, that is why I had job past 20 years pretty much every single month, because that's why I recorded a video 3 years ago on YouTube called Death of a Software Engineer and a Rise of Product Developer, right? So if you want to have a job, you need to be a valuable tool, because we are all to some degree products. You and I both are products. We need to sell ourselves, right? So if you want to be closer to indispensable, which is impossible again, your skill should be your perception and your approach and your understanding of what business is and what your job is. So for example, if you're some sweaty developer who still dreams about writing code manually and you're still arguing whether this language is better than that one, then you're way behind. If you're arguing how can I provide more value and make customers happy, that is the way to go, right? Because nobody gives a fuck if you're writing Rust or JavaScript or Python or Go, because these skills in isolation are as useful as knowing how to use a shovel in isolation. They have zero value. The only value is if you can take the tool, apply it to some problem, and then generate the outcome that's positive for yourself and your company, right? So if you want to get better at things, improve your communication skills. Communication is everything in life. I work as an engineering manager, and I got there not because I'm just a good coder, it's because I learned to understand politics of the companies, learn to communicate, learn to provide clarity instead of ambiguity, learn to be proactive instead of reactive and stuff. So these are the skills that you need to work on, not another language or framework, because nobody ever gave a crap about that, right? And skills, in order to be a good communicator, you need to go hang out with people, you need to argue, you need to resolve conflicts, you need to write. You cannot do that over a video or over a course. You cannot shape your emotions, your maturity, your articulation skills, your vocabulary. You cannot do that by watching a YouTube video. You need to, just like you need to go to gym to build up biceps and triceps and whatever, you need to also talk and work in order to build up those skills as well, right? The most valuable skill in life is communication skills. If you don't have those, you will never get into any leadership position. You'll never move anywhere other than being a tool, basically. Alright, I'm sorry, I just need to read this very quickly. Invoke like any standard agentic harness. True interactive REPL. True streaming output. Yes. Yes. Cool. Slash commands. Gate model. Model decides. Gate confirms. You converse. The agent works with tools edits when it stops calling tools. If a gate is configured, the deterministic gate runs as confirmation. It's exactly cool. Parked, revisit only when a flagship second judge model, blah blah blah. Extract the shared turn primitives into blah blah blah.
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
Uncle 8-bit, thank you very much, man, for follow. I'm happy that you are at least considering to at least having some fun here. Yes, let's start on the slice 1. Right, let's track the work of the agent, and then let's review and stuff, and then hopefully we can get to a point where our harness, I can start using it through CLI, not only through tests. So far I've been running these tests on DGX Spark literally 24/7 for 3 days, so it built a lot of apps and a lot of crap, so we got to know the model, the local model that we're building for a bit. So let's actually see what is it gonna do, and in the meanwhile I'll just and then yeah, after the CLI proves, player at end to end. Very good. Sako, are you referring to our harness, you mean? We do have a prompt, yes. That prompt was essentially crucial in making our harness useful, right? So we do have a prompt. We do have a prompt. Yeah, good evening, everybody. No, when building with AI near the... Yes. I actually, if you go to, I think Boring Stack that I already shared with you guys has a perfect example of that. Actually, if you go here to documentation and you go to agent as an index, this is Sako what I suggest. This is what I suggest because, so, you know, I spent significant amount of time researching what works best. As I was saying last night, or when was it, like these agents MD, Claude MD, the problem with these files fundamentally is that they get injected into the session once you start working with an agent, and then as the context grows, these just kind of disappear slowly. Second, because oftentimes this file is going to grow so big, it becomes logically, practically, it becomes logically impossible to expect it to work. That's why I'm trying to sell you guys this concept I created called lint as a contract. So anyway, to cut it short, I can show you what I believe. I'm not saying you shouldn't have this file, you should have it. I'm just saying likelihood of this file not failing on you is 0. Because the thing is like, again, it's not to say that you shouldn't have it because it helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. So for example, if you say, you know, never do this in this file. Yes, sometimes the agent is gonna say, okay, I'm never gonna do that. But many times in the session, it's gonna ignore that because it just, under quotes, forgot about it. So again, it still helps you a bit, but you still need to go back and forth and fix the crap, right? But if you go, for example, in this mono repo and go to, for example, agents MD here, you can see what I've been doing, right? So instead of having a flat thing with 2,000 lines here explaining every single rule, you create it as an index, right? And that index is basically telling agent, so hey agent, when you're doing some of these, right, then open this file. So for example, hey, if I'm reading or writing to Redis, do this, right? If I am adding a config knob, whatever, do this, etc. Of course, you can ask anything, yes. So I think this is the most, in my experience of testing, this is the most efficient thing, is because it loads just a reference in the context, and then if it's doing some of these things, it can, right?
New follower detected.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, Sako, yes. But again, I tend to not... I tend to find relevance of these files almost marginally zero, right? So I find that these files should... in my projects, these files are going to evaporate almost completely, because every single rule in here that I have is also described in my parsers and linters, right? So every single one of these, so you could say that this is useful to some degree, but this is just, think of this as defensive programming, but in this context, almost like a defensive programming against agents. So this is just one layer of help, but if you actually go through boring stack, you will find every single of these things either being in the parser or the linter, and if the agent fails, it's not going to be able to continue because the linter or the parser are going to fail it. This whatsoever, if this fails, nothing's going to happen because agent under quotes forgot. So that is the massive difference in what I'm trying to convey here, is that you can't rely on this, aka not deterministic. And in the context of tooling that I wrote, is 100% deterministic because it cannot continue working. So for example, if we go to API, if we go to scripts, if we go to lint meta, right? So all of the rules that you saw there are also defined in here. Sure. You just try this, man. I mean, you don't have to use my stack. You don't have to use boring stack. But I highly advise you to go through this and see what I did. Because this is the only thing that always works fully, 100% of the time. And then you will see that... if you embrace this pattern here, you will stop even updating your agent's file. And instead, whenever you want to have a new rule, new understanding of your code base, you're going to create the linter or the parser for it, right? And that is the difference, right? So you're going to actually... So that's why I called it guardrails, because these are true guardrails, right? Versus slamming shit tons of stuff into... The thing is, exactly, I think so. I mean, I think it's just illogical, right? Think about it this way, right? Let me tell you why this file can never work. It doesn't matter, like, first like these agents MD and or Claude, right? These are just markdown files, right? So there's no magic around them. They get injected into the context, right? But think about it as a human being, right? Why is this hard, right? You have rule 1, rule 2, rule n, right? So this file is filled with a bunch of rules, right? And then you have an agent or yourself writing code. Code line 1, code line 2, code line 3, right? And at each given time when your agent is writing code, it's doing various different concerns, various different domains. So it might write a UI component, then it might go and write an API, then it might go write a middleware, then it might go and do some infrastructure, right? So logically, it's almost impossible, because every single of these lines that it writes at a given time would have to reference back every single rule. So it would be like, I'm writing line 1, check against 500 rules. I'm writing line 2, check around 200 rules. So like, no matter what, it's always going to fail, because it's impossible to comprehend, even for computer like that, to map this graph would be insane, right? So that's why it's inevitably going to fail, because as it writes different things, because most people today, when they use agents, they're using monorepos or some sort of workspaces, and it's like, okay, hey, build me this feature end to end. And the agent now is jumping between multiple domains within 1 minute. And so you can't expect it to do like okay, now I'm gonna do this rule, I'm gonna do this rule, right? So it's gonna inevitably fail, which means that this here needs to become your linters parsers, right? Now, right? No, sure, Sako, exactly. And this is the only place where they're useful, right? That's the only place where they're actually useful. I agree. I'm with you. This is the start of my message, huh? Yeah, I get it. I mean, I like it. Definitely, yes. I mean, at least you're putting in some work, so that's... Because I also found a bunch of these files which are absolutely terrible. Okay, let me see what's happening here. So we have CLI tests. Let's actually read the tests. Because CLI test... Let's see, okay. Parses task plus files plus accept plus directory. Add a clear button. Files, add blah blah blah, okay. Hey, first time saying hi on this. Oh man, thank you very much for saying hi, dude. And that's awesome, man. I spent past 3-4 months. I'm still mind blown, to be honest. I'm a little bit ashamed. My ego is hurt that I didn't do this earlier. I mean, I've been writing ESLint custom plugins like 10 years ago, so it's not like something mind-blowing, right? It's just it's crazy that it just took me 4 years or 3 to even get myself into thinking about it, right? Because I was also using markdown files and all of that crap, right? Mostly. So it's a bit, but it's better. It's better that it happened 3 months ago than never, right? But it gives very good results. If you create the proper tooling and enforce it, then it's truly making these agents, you're making their life very, very difficult. Like for example, like I use Opus and Codex and all of these great models, and the amount of time that they try to, for example, manually cast a value, or turn the type into any, cast it to any, or like it's almost unimaginable. You say that models of this quality and this training would so for example, what they also try to do, and this is where Boring Stack was amazing, where I learned this, is that they try to disable TypeScript. It's like they fail to solve something and they just add ts-ignore. So luckily, all of this I solved with lints and guardrails, right? But it's incredible that even the top-notch models, they try to do it, right? Like they try to bypass that, right? Well, I mean, we do code things ourselves, right? I mean, just because you're not pressing your keyboard, that doesn't mean you're not coding it yourself. You're reviewing it. You're pouring in your judgment and experience, right? So I think people are misunderstanding the concept of what is your own code, right? Pressing keys with your own hands doesn't mean that's your code, right? Hopefully, even when you use your AI is writing the code that looks exactly how you would write it. So you're automating the speed, not your brain, right? Like if you go to any of my projects that have been written by AI, that is all reflection of my repositories past 15-20 years that have been written by me. So it's just like, hey AI, this is how I write things, right? You write them this way now as well. Because of course computer is way faster at pressing keys than I am. My professor would disagree. I mean, I don't give a crap if he would disagree, man. I've been probably doing this work longer than your professor, so that's not a good argument that he would disagree, right? It doesn't matter what he would do. My pleasure, Sako. And then I think I did include a link somewhere when I wrote these docs. I think you should find it, but if not, I already sent it to you. Sorry, man. No. No, I mean, it's right. Experience is judgment, it's taste, right? And we have all developed it over the years. And, you know, we just automate things. That's just how it is. We have to. It's not a matter of opinion, right? It's not that we sadly dictate. Even if we didn't want to do things in a certain way, we are not the ones who are creating these expectations and stuff like that, right? Okay, so soon we're gonna try our REPL, our first time. Give me 1 second. Okay, that is a very arbitrary test. Very useless. Is it still worth learning web development in this era? Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, man. Like, honestly, I mean, I genuinely want to say yes. I think everything is worth learning, man. I mean, it's a very tough question to answer. There's never a no to whether something is worth learning, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry. I would say that there's always a reason to learn things. Unless you have something better to do, then I mean, it doesn't actually matter, right? I'm learning to code and it's overwhelming. Any advice for new future programmers to be a great programmer? I mean, to be a great programmer, you don't really need to be too clever. You just need to be curious, like in any other profession, and you need to code a lot. If you want to be a tennis player, you have to hit the tennis ball every day. If you want to be a very muscular guy or girl, you have to go to gym every day. So it really is, I'm not trying to primitivize it, but it's really that simple, right? And today you literally have a mentor. Like, you can open any of these free agents and they will teach you amazing things. But you have to fail, you have to build, right? So the only way to become a good programmer is the same way you would become good at anything else. There's nothing to overthink there. There's nothing really fascinating about programming. Programming is just a bunch of memorization of things, muscle memory, and then some logic and reason over time. And then, as with any other profession, you build some taste and judgment and stuff as you build things, as you find new patterns. Some patterns you're gonna discover and then realize that they exist. Some you're gonna know up front. Sometimes you're gonna learn a lot of theory that you don't know how to apply. But fundamentally, there's nothing crazy about programming. Programming is not a hard job. It's a pretty easy job. It's a lot of repetitive crap. Most programmers keep writing the same shit for 20 years. So yeah. So just build things and that's it. Is there a backend framework? Well, I mean, most of boring stack is backend. I mean, so you have the API, you have the UI, you have infrastructure, and you have provisioning. Yes. So backend is Bun.js or Node.js, if you will. Hi, as a Go developer, I'm curious, would you see a Go replacement for apps, APIs, visible? Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I almost wrote Go myself. I love Go. Go is my favorite language. Beautiful language, amazing. The reason why I didn't write Go, let me show you. So the reason why I didn't write Go for boring stack is very simple. Isomorphism, right? So boring stack API and UI, they're decoupled right now, but they do share some code. And the reason why they can share the code is because it's JavaScript basically on both ends. So for example, let me show you one thing. So if we search for client, and if we get to Open Client API, so this Open Client API, so HTTP client library in the UI that Boring Stack is using is generated off of the Swagger spec that my API generates. So if you search for Swagger here, or actually it's not, it's Open Spec API. I think, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, actually maybe it is here. So basically, I went this path because the tooling just works better. But would I use Go for this API? Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. But you can see that I'm using. So if we, if I actually go and open Boring Stack now,
New follower detected.
give me 1 second. Where is it?
Programmer network updated.
If we go and search for this. And there's many references, obviously, but if we actually go... Where's the package JSON? Wait, or maybe I think... Two seconds. I believe it's here. Yeah. So basically, so for Boring Stack, I'm using this OpenAPI fetch. So the idea is very simple, right? The HTTP library in the UI is automatically generated from the backend, from Bun.js in this context, from ElysIA.js. And because ElysIA.js comes with OpenSpec API as a first-class citizen, like, because it infers, it generates the OpenSpec from JSON validation from another JSON validator, AJV, just like Fastify, you get basically typed clients in the UI, always 100% correct relative to your API. So you're not writing, your HTTP client in the UI after you implement the API endpoint, right? So the point is, this was amazing developer experience. It's fully type safe, and you can't you can't even build the API or UI if they are out of sync, because I did this with tooling, right? So both API and UI are now always in sync, and tooling disallows them to get out of sync. So that's why if you go to Boring Stack, right, and if you go to GitHub and look at, for example, the actions, right, and if you look at the jobs, you'll notice that every time you merge to master, and you're gonna get this if you use the framework, I do various tests. Of course, a bunch of security tests, we run end-to-end tests, and then there's this one called OpenDrift API. So what this specific CI does, CI workflow does, it ensures that the UI has the generated client-side HTTP library from the actual API. So you can never even merge or pass the PR if they're out of sync, right? So that's why it's very nice, is because you always, whenever you update your API, you know that your client-side library is never going to drift. You're going to have to regenerate it, so you will never going to get into these regressions where, oh fuck, we updated the API, but UI is fetching something else, right? So very important thing. And this is what I wrote here under typed API, right? Bun run generate. No, my pleasure. But Go is a beautiful language, beautiful language. I love it a lot. I could only say, you could say, it's very hard to beat Node.js ecosystem. So not by quality per se, it's just like, it has enormous community, right? It's like infinite. It's very hard to find something that doesn't exist, where Go also has a beautiful community, very idiomatic, very strict, but it's not yet, as you could say, supported, right? Even though this boring stack doesn't use external, like I build the whole authentication, authorization, JSON web tokens, HTTP only cookies, cross-site scripting prevention, like all of the standard security measures and everything I of course wrote in here. So you could say that a Go replacement wouldn't be that tough, because a lot of things is just it's just code. It's not like I'm not installing some of the third, like OAuth or Propel Auth or Auth0 I meant, sorry, etc, right? Before we move on, okay. No, man, it's very appropriate. Thank you for asking. Very good, man. Just been with my little son. We have a 11 months old baby. He's a little bit he's a little bit sick. His nose and stuff. So he fell asleep. Then my older son Nikolai and my wife, I bought some closet here for my office just to organize stuff a little bit better. So we assembled that and just hanged out a bit. Ate avocado. No, sorry, not avocado, something else. And then I decided to stream because it's been so long. Hey Alex, think of going back to doing some hobby app dev after 1 year of not touching any coding. What do you recommend? Cloud Code? Yeah, man. I think tools today are very good in general, right? I mean, I think the flagship models have really the differences between them has been really like narrowed down. So I think for the most part, unless you're doing something that has to be done very quickly, like efficient, you have to be super efficient at work, you can use any of those, right? But thank you, Jess Maniac. Thanks, but I didn't stream in like 6 months, or was it? So, and then I appeared yesterday randomly. So. Oh, thank you very much, man. Thank you thank you, Kirill. I appreciate that, man. Okay, so now we're testing our harness for the first time. Okay, give me a second. All right, let's see. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we need to parse this better. Let's see what. So, but our local model is working. Not very usefully parsed std out, is it? Okay, let's stop that. Not very fun. Let's try another one. Explain this directory. Okay, it's working. Let's see. Okay, you didn't explain shit. All right, let's give this feedback back to our AI. But it's fine. I mean, we got now to a point where we are now moving from just plain tests to the actual harness, so we can. So that's a very good thing, I think. Give me 2 seconds. Let me find some music to play. What is this? Okay, maybe not that. Not to fall asleep here. Ambient space music, nah. Chillest lo-fi in universe. Yeah, okay, I mean, that can bore people a bit, sure. Man, I would be so happy if I proved that we can lift this model. Man, I could literally sell this. I could sell this to companies if we could prove that building specialized harness, because it's logical, right? I mean, at least in my mind, it's completely logical. It's like these huge models like Opus and stuff, they're great at so many things because they basically train them on like petabytes of data, right? So of course you can expect them to just work. But these smaller models like Qwen that's been specialized for coding, like you need to narrow it even further down if you wanted to, even in insanity, like compete with models which are like, I don't know, 500 times in size or something like that, right? So it's I believe that we'll be able to do it. Because imagine that already today you could have a local model that's just sufficiently good to save companies money on paying for more expensive shit, right? That would be pretty cool. Not because of money per se, but it would be just awesome to like turn the idea into reality. Okay, that's really weird. Okay, let me actually close that. Yeah, man, and that's why I'm gonna put my heart into this in the next month or so, because I know I'm just insane when I put my focus on something. It becomes very personal, and then I go all the way around. I'll try everything. I'll try this until it works. I mean, I'll just obsess all over it. It becomes literally like a battle against myself. So I'll just try everything. And I mean, having this DGX Spark right now here being bought by my company, I mean, it helps so much, right? Because yes, I can't run tests in the speed that I would want, but I can fine-tune the models now. So I might even go, once we finish with the harness, maybe in one of the streams, together we're gonna learn how to fine-tune the model, right? So maybe play here and there with a couple of parameters to see whether we can like specialize it for what we're specializing our harness as well, right? So I'm actually can't wait to learn a little bit about that as well, because like right now I'm pretty dumb about it. But I've been reading passively. And passive consumption, is it very useful? You know, but once we get our hands on it, that's yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That is just very proactive way to do it than wait for others to solve it for you, right? what are we doing here? Let's actually, I actually care about this file. Session TS. I want to know what are we doing in it. Do we actually have a test for it? Yes. Okay, good. Because I want to read the test rather than the implementation. So no gate, one conversational turn, conversation retained, directory TS4 session, session create. Okay, so we have this session constructor. Is this? Yeah. Okay, so we have a session constructor here. We initialize some private stuff, pass it a config, provider, current working directory, files, fix, whatever, cool. Let's actually go back there. I want to know what we're doing. Then we register tools for, okay, what is this tools for? Build a session, we create a session, give it a session ID. Okay, that's... Yeah, because I guess... Yeah, okay. Well, we'll need to... That feels a bit weird. So we create a session object. We create a loop context. Give it a current working directory. Build the TypeScript service. This is basically the TS language service. I'm building a harness for a local model. I have a local AI DGX Spark running here. So basically we're running our AI locally, and I'm trying to build a specialized tooling just for that model and for TypeScript stack. So we're trying to uplift the local model to a largely higher quality, because I have a lot of hypotheses, and also I shared a bunch of documents that prove these hypotheses. Actually, let me just share that maybe again. So if we go Adi Osmani, Harness Engineering, I highly advise you all for your own careers and sake to read this article. And then in this article, as I said, there are some very good reference articles, and one of them is from Anthropic. And at Anthropic, or Claude Code and stuff that everybody uses, their harness is a huge part of the quality, right? So this is a very good article as well. And Adi has really done a good job on kind of aggregated stuff. But you can see basically that's what we're building now. This is our model, and we're gonna build everything around it. Of course, like memory and stuff, we eventually, when we get to that point in a couple of days, we will use obviously hopefully some awesome open source stuff, so we're not gonna reinvent things that already exist. But this part is gonna be pretty much ours uniquely. This one, not really. Here we're gonna use, Playwright, we're gonna use some things. File system, obviously we're gonna use native tools, right? And then context injection, this is probably so you could say that this for us is gonna be the selling point, right? This is gonna play a huge part for us, right? So harness here, and the Snail, hey buddy. I think I shared it, right? I just shared it a second ago. Let's George, hey man. Yes, dude. Yeah. I swapped the model. So first, maybe one easy one that I did. I swapped the 27 billion parameter model for 35B, 3 billion active parameters. So now we're getting like 65 tokens per second. Then quality didn't seem to degrade. Then I also discovered this. I didn't try it. I don't know, George, if you did. But if this is true, this would be absolutely insane, because we could run our same model, also the 3.6 one. Look at this, right? But I do believe that this is too good to be true. I mean, this is 122 billion parameter model. it's saying you can get approximately 50 tokens per second, right? So yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical about that. I don't believe it until I see it, and I actually already have downloaded that. Yeah, so Atlas apparently is this new Rust-based inference. So as you can see, what they did, basically, they wrote the entire engine, and they're using CUDA as well, so no PyTorch, no Python. So I actually already downloaded this, and we could try this stream. I mean, it's already downloaded on my DGX Spark. So we could try it and see, you know, whether the quality degrades. And I do believe if we search for Quen, so as you can see here, here's the what we shipped today. Here it is. This is what I'm running now. And we could So yeah, I'll probably, you can see, I mean, these are very good numbers, but the context is very, very small, right? So my context is 256K, right? So you could say that probably due to some of these parameters, that's why they're getting these numbers. This is 65K context, right? And we're running right now 256K, right? So that is a huge difference. This is 16K context, right? So yeah, I mean, sometimes these benchmarks are 64K window, right? So that's, you know, that is massive difference, massive difference. Okay, let me try our harness again. I use Claude Code as well, yes. This thing here in the left is 4.8 Claude, yes. Explain this repository. Okay, so this is our agent, this is our local model now in the right side, right? So this is our Quen 35 billion parameters. It's around 65 tokens per second. So you can say, I mean, like, of course now we need to, but speed-wise now you could say you're not really noticing much of a difference, right? Okay. One last note, the true root cause is server side. Your VLLM tool called parser doesn't match what Quen 3.635 actually emits under a heavy tool list. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you very much for coming, man. Get some rest, and we definitely see each other soon, for sure. So Playwright is end-to-end testing framework, right? Or so I want to incorporate it as part of the one of the, you could say, layers inside of the harness as well. So I wanted to be able to run end-to-end tests, right? Open the browser, headless Chrome or whatever, etc. Exactly, QA, exactly. I don't see how what Jenkins has to do anything with Playwright. I think you're mixing two different worlds. Jenkins is a CI runner, right? Playwright is a test runner. So I don't see like any correlation between those. Hey, can I ask you a question about DevOps, please? Yeah, absolutely. Please ask it. Right now I'm using Qwen 3.635b, and then I believe it has 3 billion active parameters. But they're completely different tools, man. You're mixing things completely differently. They're not solving the same problem at all. Sure, man.
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
Thank you very much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. I'm currently hosting async multiplayer game API. The player basically fights with other players' past builds. There's 3,000 concurrent players. Would you use something like Kubernetes and implement auto scaling for that? We're currently using 0 RAM. No, I don't think you need Kubernetes for that. Kubernetes has very little to do with your problem, right? You need Kubernetes for several reasons, and some of the reasons are often very misunderstood by people. So Kubernetes is a great technology to have if you have multi-teams in your organization and you want to enable them to deploy and own their own deployments, right? That's number one. Number two, Kubernetes sure is about scale, and especially on services like GCP when it's managed Kubernetes. Like I run Kubernetes here, like I have all of my programmer network when you go to programmer.network and stuff, and you don't really want to be managing your own Kubernetes. It's a lot of work. I manage my own because I'm a nerd, but I would never suggest that to a business. Third, you just need to scale your server. Like horizontally or vertically, you don't really need Kubernetes for that. You can just scale it. You say you're using Hetzner, so on Hetzner you have a load balancer, right? So you can just buy more compute, more machines, and that's it, right? And of course you need to optimize your code as well, because oftentimes infrastructure is not your problem. It's your networking code that sucks, right? Hi, just tuned in. Any resources, website you would recommend for beginner in DevOps? No. I would suggest that you buy 2 old laptops or 1 laptop or some virtual machines, that you use Docker, and then you try to host something yourself, and then you play with firewalls, with IP tables with, right? You don't need a course. You will not learn that by watching a course. Yes, that's where you need load balancing, right? So of course you're hosted. So right now your video game server is hosted in Germany, right? On a server that's literally in Germany, right? So you need a load balancer, and then you need servers in different regions, right? So you need a server that's closer to Asia and Russia. You need a server that's in the US, right? So that you're not going to solve that by Kubernetes. In fact, Kubernetes would make it slower, and more latency, not faster. I only have theoretical understanding of computer networks. That's okay. I mean, theory is fine, but you need practice, right? So I actually wrote a very long Kubernetes. So I wrote a Kubernetes guide. You can actually go here. This is my own setup. And you can also find my own hardware here. Like, I can actually turn on the camera now. Give me 1 second.
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
Alrighty, let me just... No, absolutely, man. Let me show you the Kubernetes cluster also here. I just turned on the camera. Give me 1 second. Shit. So I'm gonna do this, deactivate, activate, I guess.
New follower detected.
Okay.
Programmer network
So
updated.
if I increase the size of this, so you can see here on the top of the screen, let me actually, give me 2 seconds. Audio capture, razor, camera. I guess I want to put the camera here. Okay. So you can see here, this is my cluster, and also I sent it as part of that link. So you don't have to build this. Like, I have like 4 mini PCs, 4 Raspberry Pis, DGX, NVIDIA DGX Spark, multiple routers, one of which I built from a PC. So you don't need this, but let me show you what you could use. Let me hide this now. No, that's me. Let me hide this. Okay, so the link that I sent you, Phil, hey buddy. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. So I think when I wrote this guide, and why, so you should also read why you should do this. You can actually go to hardware components, and obviously my setup here costs thousands of euros, right? But you can do this super cheap. Like, you can get some MikroTik. This is the cheapest options you can get. So you can kind of get this super cheap MikroTik equipment, and you can pretty much achieve very similar to what I have. I mean, at least knowledge-wise. So you can start here, and you can go and buy like 2-3 oldest super crappy laptops, like 10 euros laptops, because you just want to have physical stuff to play with. You don't actually need to use physical stuff, but it's just fun when you, okay, I have some cable, some UTP ports, some switch or router, so I'm gonna plug this shit in, and I'm gonna go and lose myself in it. I'm gonna create some VLAN, some subnet. Oh crap, wow, this is great. I have isolated the networks. Okay, now I'm gonna go and do some QoS, quality of service on my data. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do some IP tables, some firewall, some masquerade, some network address translation, right? So you can kind of learn networking that way. Then you're gonna say, okay, now I'm gonna do some role access based stuff on the router. I'm gonna enable WireGuard VPN on my router. So there's so many things you can do, right? I for example, run my own VPN on all of my devices, my wife's phone and stuff, because MikroTik comes with WireGuard, right? So for example, you can see I have my own WireGuard here because it comes as part of the MikroTik stuff, right? And then, you know, you would play with things like, right, you would play with your firewall, right? You would create different subnets, different bridges, right? Blah 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 blah. So you can see I personally here have 4 or 5 different VLANs. My VLAN, my Kubernetes cluster that you see in this video, right, is isolated both on a physical switch, but also, right, etc, 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 etc. So you want to build this for yourself. You don't have to go where I went, because I run my actual production stuff on this cluster. I host everything here in this room, but you obviously don't have to do that. I mean, and I would probably not suggest that. Is on-prem always cheaper than cloud? Well, that depends what you mean by cheaper. It's cheaper, yes, it's cheaper than cloud, but then you need to have people to maintain it. You have to know stuff, you have to mitigate risk, etc., right? So is it cheaper? Not always. It's not always cheaper, right? Sometimes oftentimes the most expensive things is salaries and paying people, right? So no, it's not always cheaper, but in my context it's cheaper because I have smart plugs here. So my cluster right now with DGX Spark, so without DGX Spark I pay around 70 to 100 watts of power. Now with DGX Spark, but you can say that I pay, I don't know, 10-15 euros of electricity a month to run this cluster, which you can get a pretty good machine on Hetzner for that. If you go, for example, to Hetzner, shit, I don't know what that was. Let's try that again. Okay, let's go to Google and try that. Hetzner. And then you go, let's see what you can get for 10 or 15 euros. But you know, you can get something that you don't need to think about with your mind at all, right? That's the point. Exactly. So that's why if you ever do that, right? Like I personally always leave why. So you know, this is my why. So you have to every time you're doing something, you need to understand every decision, every technical decision, every decision in life has consequences that go both ways. So paying for the cloud has massive value. Hosting things on-prem has massive value as well. Now, which is more valuable depends on many other variables, circumstances, companies, etc., etc. So there's no right or wrong. That's why you're an engineer, right? You're an engineer, hopefully, because you have brain and you're able to make technical decisions. You can see this purple core. He's using language that is very decisive, or to say very. He's explaining things with words as there is things are black and white, right? He's saying if you host things at home, it's garbage and stuff. But this is deeply like it's almost like he's talking about growing potato at home, right? And not about technicalities. So, you know, if you're an engineer, you sit down and you write cons and pros, right? You figure out what works, what doesn't. And then based on this input or output, you figure out whether that makes sense for you, right? So, yeah. So for example, Basecamp, that guy, what's his name? Basecamp, when they went from AWS to on-prem, and I think they're saving like 3 or 4 million euros a year just by self-hosting, right? No, but I mean, this is my advice. You can take it or not, but I would definitely tell you to, if you want to buy over people and make friends along the way, you need to adjust your vocabulary so you're not sounding very aggressive or offensive, right? You can make a point by saying things in a in a more communication skills are an art, right? When you are using things, this is full garbage. I absolutely disagree. Or absolutely, you don't have, nobody is going to discuss things with you. So it's like if you want to prove a point, and if you have experience, even better to prove it, fuck yeah, go for it. But I mean, writing that way is not opening the dialogue. You're shutting down the dialogue by writing things that way, right? This is full garbage. This is not full garbage. Like, you're being too absolute, right? And usually people who are too absolute, they're not thinking clearly. So that's my point, right? Could you suggest something I should explore as a beginner to get... Just follow your curiosity, man. Nobody can suggest that for you. I mean, knowledge is infinite, right? And I mean, I can suggest something that I'm passionate about, but you have to see where, like, for example, I have this crap here because I want and I love to do it, right? But purple, like, I think, man, like, I've been working in this industry for 20 years and I've been working as a Cisco engineer in 2008, right? That's beside the point. Like, I'm just saying you should use vocabulary so it uplifts you and pushes you forwards, right? I would not hang out with a person who talks like that, right? Because it's very irritating, right? I don't even know what you're saying because at this point I already lost you, right? So like, you're being extremely absolute, and I don't even know. I think you're arguing against yourself. I'm not even sure what is the point that you argue. You're not coherent enough, right? Like, I don't know. If you read your own last 5 or 6 sentences, I don't think even you will know what is the point that you're trying to make, honestly, right? So that's not very coherent, man. I don't genuinely know what you're saying. And I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, if you literally go and see what you said past 6 sentences, none of it is related to each other, right? I have no idea what you're saying. I mean, maybe you're used to, I mean, I'm not a Twitch streamer, typical. Maybe that's how people talk on this platform. Fuck JavaScript, fuck this, Rust is the best, this is the best. I get that, right? But, you know, this stream is not about that, man. My coherence isn't really... I don't think that anybody understands anything you're saying, man. And if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me. But I don't think, man, that anybody really is understanding anything you're saying at this point. Have no idea what you're talking about, man. I was just referring to your comment where you... yeah. Okay, anyway. That's what it is, man. It's okay. You can keep talking to yourself. I think that is perfectly fine. Interesting. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Tell me, what is this repository about? Okay, now we're talking. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. Okay, wow. Okay. Can I know your country? No. Wow, this was actually super freaking fast, man. What the hell? A cloud code cluster CLI that... Okay, wow, that worked. That worked. I mean, I just said no because it's fun. I don't see relevance where someone lives. It's completely useless information. It's like we're not discussing here. Are you a Danish programmer or an American programmer? Because that changes everything. Right. The team is building out of okay. A Claude code class. The repository is TS4 to specialize local AI coding harness. Very good. Okay. What do we want to do? What would you change in this repo? Let me just test the agent. Wow, man, fuck, this is good. What's your font? I think I had a font command. Give me a second. I think I had something like this. Yes, man, technology. Yes, look at that. I can use Twitch. Fuck yeah. Okay, so now... Okay, now it's kind of... It went into the... No, it's not a dumb question, man. I think it's very relevant. Very dumb question, but how do you take care of your eyes? I mean, I have some protective glasses that I typically wear, but not much, man. I just try to, yeah. I mean, I do a lot of other things, right? I'm not sitting in front of a computer all the time. Yeah, just buy the eye drops. Just buy the eye drops. They help a lot. Do you stream regularly? No, man. I streamed 6 months ago last time, I think. So yesterday I kind of came back a bit, but no. I mean, my streaming really is about kind of energy of other people. Like if I stream and I see that people are just inactive or whatever, I just leave, right? Because I mean, I do this for fun, right? So, but no, I don't stream regularly, no. Your open-ended question exposed a real gap, and it's a genuine design bug, not flakiness. Let me look at the exact cause, the system prompt the session is using. Any new? That's a good. So George, I was sharing. I don't know if I shared this with you. I don't know if you were here. I don't have emojis enabled in my chat, right? I don't see like I just see Gachiba's clap. Yeah, Gachiba's clap. Gachibas clap. What the fuck is Gachibas clap? Gachibas clap. Okay, wow. Oh, Gachibas clap. Okay, wow. It's very cool. Gachibas. Gachibas clap is a popular Twitch emote and chat phrase representing high energy. Oh, yes. Approval. So wait, is it my high energy on someone else? I'm not, yeah. Often used alongside Gachimuchi. Wow. Remixes or in response, the fuck is Gachimuchi, man? Gachimuchi. Gachimuchi meaning stocky muscular in Japanese is a Japanese internet meme. Subculture featuring highly edited, humorous mashups of... The fuck, I don't understand this sentence at all. I don't know these English words. Crap, my English vocabulary died. Okay, so Gachibas is like used alongside Gachimuchi. Okay, let me memorize that. Let me store this in my long-term memory. It's very useful information. Gachibas clap is used Gachimuchi remixes or responds to intense bass heavy, or manly moments in streams. It is the animated successor to Gachigasm. Gachigasm. Man, fuck's sake, bro. What are these things? Gachigasm. Okay. Alright, cool, man. I don't know. I'm so confused right now. Completely confused. Where's my chat? Gachimachi, bro. I just remembered. Gachimachi, Miji Biji, Libi Gigi, Badge, Bodge, Badge. That's kind of what I remember. Cool, okay. Great. Let's kind of get back to this. Gachimachi. Uh-huh. Okay. Where? Yeah, man, it was yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just I'm so boring. What would you change about this repository? I'm asking open-ended questions to our model just to see how it responds to this. Man, these emojis, one thing led to another. Gachi mochi, michi puchi, bichi bachi, right? Jesus Christ. The file. Try also Gemma 4. I did try it yesterday. Quen is significantly better for coding. Significantly better. I did try it yesterday for like an hour, and then I benchmarked it using Hermes, and this was so much better for code. Do I have a Discord server? Yes. Discord. Command. Yes, worked. Shit, I'm so good at this technology. Yesterday I ran Gemma. Fuck, man, I'm sorry, I'm gonna lie to you. Maybe 19 bill, 20 something bill, I don't remember. But similar size to Quen that I had running as well. And then I went and I read early feedback on the models. I went to Reddit and some other platforms. I mean, DGX Spark, DGX Spark has 120 gigs of unified memory and stuff, so I could run technically like 100 something billion parameters, but quantized and, you know, I don't know how many active parameters. But these are the specs. So we have 128 gigs of memory, unified system memory. We have 4 terabytes of NVMe. You could say that memory bandwidth is like not so great. And then power supply, 250 watts. Okay. Yeah, I do, Matog. I do, but I don't think that my company is gonna buy another one for me now because it's like $7,000 or something. But so just so you understand, so it's my company bought me this, right? Do you see agentic CLI tools replacing traditional CI/CD or complementing them? Definitely complementing them. Replacing them, no, never. You cannot like there's no need replacing CI/CD. CI/CDs are not broken. They do exactly the function that they should. They're deterministic. That they're accurate, cheap, right? But I definitely see that agentic things can enhance. So, for example, what I do see is like, for example, if we go to monitoring, I don't know if it's up. Let me see. I'm not really sure whether I have this running still. Give me a second. But for example, what I do see that products like Grafana, yeah, it's not up. But what I do see that products like Grafana will become obsolete to some degree. Because for example, today, and actually I think one of the next things in a couple of maybe weeks, if I end up streaming, what I want to do is build something similar. In simple words, I think for metrics, for reading the metrics, for SRE type of behavior, agents are amazing. So basically, I don't think that people will be building Grafana dashboards anymore. Instead, you're going to have agents and you're going to say, hey, agent, just as like do with my Hermes, right? Now, if I go to my Hermes, let me actually SSH into one of these laptops. But if I do this and I can say, hey Hermes, tell me some interesting metrics from my Prometheus, right? This is what I believe is going to be a new interface for observability/telemetry, right? So instead of you building these, like, okay, people will still build pre-built dashboards, but they will build them this way. So look at this now. Now I'm literally now interfacing with my Hermes that has read-only access control key, like basically service account key that's read-only, and I'm telling it, hey, go into my Kubernetes cluster, parse my Prometheus metrics, and then tell me something interesting. So you see now it's saying, it's looking at my monitoring namespace in my physical Kubernetes, basically in this thing here, 4 Raspberry Pis, 4 mini PCs, and a laptop, and the NVIDIA Spark. So let's see what is it going to do. So this is, for example, where I see that agents are going to take over, because humans suck at reading logs, especially when you open GCP or AWS logs or your Kubernetes logs. You need to go through things, right? This is what agents are amazing for. Well, I would say that these two things are slightly different, right? I mean, your CI really isn't there to fix anything, right? CI is there to ensure that your assumptions about your code are correct, right? So you're like, when you run a CI, you're saying, okay, this build has to pass. Okay, my dependencies have to be this and that or locked to avoid these types of attacks. So CI is not there to fix things, right? CI is there to ensure that things that are there today are correct, that your tests are right. So you could think about CI as a centralized computer. So your developers are not saying, well, it worked on my computer, right? Maya Rayner. Oh, cool. We have a raid. Man, how do I respond to raid? I haven't streamed in half a year. I forgot these commands. Was it shout out or something like that? Shout out. Yes, I think I remember. Yes, there we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for your raid. That's very kind of you. Type shout out. I did already. Yes. Good evening, everybody. But yeah, you're gonna see now, right, that this is probably the future of telemetry and observability from the context of these agents, because it's right. Maya, pretty good, pretty good. I mean, I haven't streamed in like half a year or something like that, so I just started streaming a little bit yesterday, and then today I'm building some, we're doing some local LLM models on DGX Spark, basically just nerding with servers. So this is kind of, this is what we're working on. So you can see there's a DGX Spark on top of it. So I'm just kind of nerding with and answering some questions. What about you? How was your stream? But yeah, that answers it, I hope. Audio on a Game Boy, nice. That's super fun. That is super fun. That is very nerdy. I like it. When I hear any hardware, I love it. It is an emulator, sure, but it doesn't matter. No, that's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. That sounds like something I would play with. I have a whole I have my own oscilloscope and a 4K microscope and a whole workbench besides me here. So this is my escape room after wife and kids and stuff like that and work. How do you like DeepSeek 4 Pro? Amazing, very good. You can see that I'm running my Hermes on it, even though I'm gonna switch my Hermes to our local model. The reason why I didn't do it is because then we wouldn't be able to do things in parallel way, right? Because right now we're building the harness, so that's why I'm not using it. But eventually, I think I'm gonna use my local model for Hermes as well. But whoever was asking the questions, just to round up the question, you can see like how awesome agents are for things like Prometheus, Loki, Grafana, structured logging, and stuff like that, right? You can see that. Hey Alex, your Kubernetes is doing great. Your 3 main main nodes are doing fine. Your 3 servers, it's high availability cluster. Your worker nodes are doing great. You know, Prometheus, whatever, is running like this. Stop memory hogs. Loki, 9 gigs, worth investigating. Is like, hey Alex, you should probably clean up your Loki chunks. You have 9 gigs of memory, even though we have like 6 or 7 hard drives there. Then we have the storage. We have the PVCs, right? Prometheus is using 73% shit. We should probably clean that up. ClickHouse, this is for ingestion for what is it called? Shit, my brain stopped. Doesn't matter. Etc. Right? So that's pretty awesome, right? Okay, let's get back here. So I want to test our own harness one more time. So let's just say, can you run the tests in the project? Not necessarily for analytics only, for tracing. I think I have, if we take a look at, I mean, I could port forward to my, give me one second. Maybe we could, maybe I could port forward to, where was it? Give me a second. K3S, backups, medley, Vault. Fuck. Man, where was my port forward? I just haven't streamed in a long time, so I kind of, to be very frank with you, infra maybe? Nah, it can't be that. Because I want to port forward to my production stuff, because it's all app of apps maybe. Argo CD, app of apps. Nah. Huh. Nah. Okay, that doesn't matter. But I think if we look at the video on the other camera, I think I have 6 SSDs and then bunch of NVMEs, and then I'm using Longhorn as a distributed storage. So if you don't know about it, Longhorn is essentially cloud native distributed block storage for Kubernetes, right? So I have around maybe 10 drives in total, and then you then basically Longhorn distributes basically something that resembles some sort of RAID before. So you can see there's a bunch of replicas. So if one of the drives goes to shit, right, you have the replication on one of the other drives. That's the whole point, right? Okay, yes, let's proceed. So this is very good. All tests, yeah. So our okay, actually, fuck. I want to do one thing. I just saw it. I saw it with this. What is it called? POM? No. Pi. What was the name of this? OMP. Let's maybe try to generate this ASCII type of thing. How they're doing this, right? I wanna generate something. Let's ask Claude. Can it help us with that, right? Before we proceed, I really want something nerdy, which is generating some sort of awesome logo when our CI is ran, just as other harnesses do. I don't know if I can paste this. Completely irrelevant at this stage of development, but I don't know. Just feel like doing that now. Okay, I think there is a failing test. All right, well, let's see what happens here, and let's see the changes that this fella made. All right, and I think this is man so powerful when the agent helps with writing these crappy utilities, right? Because this is probably the biggest win. Writing the harness. Thank you very much, guys, for the follows. Writing the harness is an easy part, right? Like if I didn't have this agent to help me out parsing all of this garbage that the LLM model, our own local model, throws, right? I would have to now manually like figure out, oh, okay, so in these circumstances, this model is outputting this type of JSON structure. So it's like, this is just not something humans should even be doing, right? I mean, it's just so absurd to need to parse these things this way, because, you know, sometimes in certain instances, model is gonna just fart out and generate something in a wrong way, right? So that stuff I'm very happy that I don't need to do. Okay, that's gonna have to be changed in time, I'm sure. It's just the beginning. Okay, session. I think we went through this. There's like a constructor. Yeah, we initialize the session. It seems to be like a
new follower detected. Programmer.
Yeah, exactly. Updated. I mean, this code I deeply despise. This is okay. It's okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Okay, at least that's an enum. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is basically how this is our profiling, if you will. We're able to capture some timestamps, and then this is exactly because I needed this for all of these tests that are running 24/7 for this. That's how we managed to kind of understand how long something's taking. Tools for, it's a pretty terrible name for a function. I see. So that should be maybe get tools for or something like that. Tools for, okay. Has existing code. I see, okay. So we're saying if we're talking about the code, if that's what we're editing right now, then use the LSP server, right? Otherwise, don't do that. So I guess here we're gonna say or not, then return the base tools. Okay, I see what's happening here. So the base tools are essentially the basic ones like reading, editing, creating. All tools include LSP tools and all of the more complex things. So if we go here, I get it. So we have like more complex things like go to function maybe, and file, like across file edits and stuff, diagnostics. Rename symbol is a common one, right? It's like, hey, I need you to rename this variable everywhere, or either in a single file or in multiple files, not just one instance. Okay, it's just it's just a terrible way, but okay, we can fix that in when this is fully finished. We can go and just update the code there, because it's not very great. And actually, that's also a good point. I just want to test one more thing so there's no regression. Write a function double write a function double in TS. Okay, all right. That's okay. That's not a wait. So I think these are the things that we're gonna have to narrow down, right? I told it to write a function. Okay, so I gave it a very simple task, but then it went ahead and said, okay, let me see where I am. Okay. So it's like, how do you... Okay, I mean, this I think is very good that I need to test these things now, because there's like so many cases now when it comes to using the harness and what the expectation is. So let's share that here. I just asked our harness while inside some there to write a function double in TypeScript, and it started checking all the files, context, etc. We need to somehow cover these cases when sometimes a user might want to do something that's not even related to a current repository. I guess getting an agent to ask follow-up questions is probably the right way to go. Alrighty. Alex, have you heard of the tool Git Nexus? Let me see. No, I have not. No. Okay. How? Okay. And how does this help? Like, is this the product? Or is there something like, does it index the things? Okay, good, because I would never use this visualization. That's just a cool demo thing, but I mean, nobody's gonna zoom in on a graph of thousands of things and find things, right? Yes, this is good. No. And I've been using, so we will need this. We're gonna add this to our harness as well, right? So yes, this is amazing. Yes, this is what you obviously need. Yes. Oh, absolutely. I had another one in mind, but this is awesome. Let's start it, number 1, and then let's save it down. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I haven't heard about this specific one. I was using. Let me actually try to find the one that graph index lib for. To be honest, I don't remember which one was it. It was none of those. No, it's not this. No, it's, yeah, fuck. I think I have started. Give me a second. No, I must have started 100%. I must have done. Yeah, code. Yeah, I think it's this. No, it's not. No. No. Fuck. Claude, no, it's not that. Gstack. What is Gstack? Oh no, it's not that. It's not that. Ah, fuck, man. Now I just can't let go now. Because I wanted to use that for this thing, but now you're sharing that. I don't remember. I freaking don't remember. Huh. Okay. Doesn't matter, but I'll find it. But we definitely need that. It's gonna be one of the core things of our harness for sure. That's what Cursor does, I believe, already. That's why they're very efficient with tokens and other things. Okay, let's get back to this very quickly. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's try again. Oh, dude, there we go. We have our forge. We have our logo now. Super cool. Matog, man, thank you very much for coming, man. I appreciate when all of the old fellas while I was still streaming are here. Good night, man. I'll also end up soon. Okay, let's Phil, let me just setup only needs to be run once. Let's write that note. Thank you. I'm gonna miss. I hope your name is spelled. I mean, I know that you're Phil. I just don't know whether it's spelled like this. If not, I'm sorry. Amazing. Okay, good. We will most likely use that unless there's something. Phil. Okay, I was almost there. There we go. Cool. Alrighty. Okay. Right now I'm just committing because we are still very early in this process of building our harness, but I think we'll get there over the period of a couple of days. I'm just gonna do the manual test again. Honestly, man, I think I added $20. I don't know what. Let me see. It's super cheap, man. I don't use Hermes. I spent $5 since so as you can see, I started using it 24th of May. So since 24th of May until today, I spent $5. And I mean, it does all of my infra. I get morning briefs on Telegram and stuff like that. So it has a very good price, man. It's an amazing price. I mean, I would consider this already free. It's like 2 coffees here in Copenhagen, right? I mean, you need around $20 for 2 coffees. So it's absurd.
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
Thank you very much, guys, for your follows. Okay, let me ask here. Write a TS double function. Okay, now it worked. Okay, more feedback here. I would have expected the output as we did before with code highlighting to be higher as well. Actually, Grok has released a model yesterday called Grok 0.1, and I have checked the pricing there. It's also very good. It is it's maybe twice the price, approximately, a bit more of DeepSeek, but I think this is also worth giving a shot, right? And if you take a look here at DeepSeek 4 Pro, it is absurd, right? And this is a 1 million context model, right? So that is 4 times that Grok thing. And input price is also very cheap. So I think this is currently heavily subsidized by the Chinese government, or these guys have these super clever Asians have figured something out that nobody else did. Because providing this pricing, it's either they have had a breakthrough, or Chinese government is trying to kind of get into the market. Because if you look at some of the communities, right, everybody is using this model. Like objectively, like for the things that you're gonna send your data anyway to these providers anyways, like whether you're gonna send it to US or China, sure, I mean, you can make a difference, but either way you're gonna send it. So so if it's not super crucial, then who cares, right? Nice. Okay, very good, because we do already have a highlighter, so that should work technically. Yes, there we go. Okay, so where did we actually miss it? Thinking budget on token arrive, blah blah. Okay, string token channel, reasoning content. Sure. Okay, very good. It's following my strict rules. Okay, let me make sure of one thing. I don't really trust it. On token takes token channel. Okay. I agree with you, Purple Core. I mean, I agree with you, man. It's fascinating. Good evening. Thank you very much for the raid. Let me just give these guys a shout out. Hope you guys had a very good stream, and I hope you learned something new and you had fun. I think purple core, it's very simple word. It's procrastination, right? I mean, you know, I remember when I was very young, I learned Pascal and COBOL from the books I got from a friend who worked in an IT department from my dad. This was maybe in 2000. Then I learned PHP 3 out of the book very, very long ago. Visual Basic 6. Today, you have infinite knowledge in your phone, in your smartwatch, right? So, Oxyco, hello, buddy. Thank you very much for the raid, man. I hope you guys had it awesome. Okay, let me try just to do this. Yes, let's just say write a TS double. I just want to see whether we have it now. Okay, cool. Now the highlighting is actually applied on our harness. So that's very good. Very, very good. Okay, cool. Are you also proficient with math? Oof. I mean, relative in comparison to whom, right? I have colleagues at work who could teach me physics and math any day, right? So am I better than an average person? Yeah. But not maybe in chemistry. I think I suck in chemistry. I'm good at digital electronics and that parts of electrical engineering. That's where my interest is. Physics, I'm interested in. I'm not good at math. Yeah, I mean, I think I know discrete math pretty well. Linear algebra, like I know algebra 1 and 2. That's the basics, right? But would I be able to write a differential equation now or stuff like that? I mean, come on, no way, no chance. Yeah, Phil, that's absolutely true, right? But you know, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a novelty for humanity. I think probably 95% of people on Earth never read books, right? I mean, how many people do you know who like before AI was here, right? So I don't think that this cognitive issue started today. I think majority of people will try to get away around things if they can, and I think sure these AI tools might enhance that. Like for example, I never read more books in my life. I probably read today easily 20 books every year, sometimes even more, right? Because like these AI tools can spark so much of interest. Like I this year already, I think I read 6 or 7. Right, and it's never been so enjoyable because I can also then reason about the things that I'm reading with the AI as well. So as I'm reading, I can oftentimes do that. Okay, let's see if we should commit this now. Let me just, okay, there's a message there in some type, inference types, a bunch of useless comments. Okay, then we have the, what was this? Token channel, okay. And then we have the NCTS updated render markdown. So for example, let me give you an example of reading a little bit, right? Let me just switch here. So I think philosophy, so for example, if you're reading, let's say if you're reading philosophy, right? If you're reading psychology, I think it's very hard to, it's impossible to summarize these types of things. Like for example, if you're reading about life of Marcus Aurelius or Cicero or these guys, right? You can't really understand it's very difficult to summarize that type of philosophy without reading the stories, reading the events, reading the things, right? So I think there is some information that you can summarize and you don't need to reason about it much, but then there's certain information that you have to read at the right age, in the right circumstances, facing, or you have already faced certain events in your life in order to be able to comprehend them, right? So I would say that that's why philosophy is not very popular to kids who are 20 years old or 18 or 17, right? because oftentimes there's very little of built experience that you can validate or invalidate against certain philosophy. But when you get over 30 or whatever, right, exactly. So that's why I think summarizing some certain subjects, it's very hard. Not because it's simply because you will lose the entire substance. Is going to be lost, right? So that is the problem. So some things can't be summarized. Like, okay, just tell me what is this book about. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So we're gonna need to build some sort of a compacting system, right? We're gonna have to build that, but let's see. And by the way, guys, if you haven't, and of course if you want, please give a star on Boring Stack. I know it sounds like a shameless advertising. It's not really. At least give it a shot, go through it, and if you like it, star it. Just trying to get some traction on GitHub, because GitHub then algorithm helps there a bit. So if you get a chance. Actually, Purple, I agree with you. Like, that's why I never, you know how judgment in philosophy works. Judgment is the most dangerous thing, because what people don't realize is that judgment never judges the event. Judgment is always going through your own self and your own opinions. You know how judgment works, right? That is the problem with judgment, right? Is that this is what philosophers, this is the core of Stoic philosophy. You say you have the judgment, you have the, you have the event, you have the judgment in some shape or order, right? So all of our judgments really are, so let's say something has happened, right? You're rarely judging the things that has happened. You're judging your own experience of what you are thinking that, like, for example, you're like somebody insults you, right? Somebody tells you a bad word. You literally have a choice to not get offended. So you literally chose that these words are hurting you. So you can apply that same principle onto anything else, right? So the reason why I'm saying this is because I agree with you. I don't think it's fair to say, oh my God, these developers today, these new juniors, they're using, let's say, AI or this or that. Because of course we all would have used it 20, 30 years ago if you had it. It's just absurd level of thinking. It's very unthoughtful to say these stupid things, right? Because everybody would have used this if they had it. That's like saying, oh, you know, look at these guys today, we're using electricity, right? I mean, it's really very unfair to throw these judgments around, right? Because everybody would do the same if you had the chance, right? So essentially, yeah, we're gonna need to implement this TS shield, which is the name of our harness continue, right? So that means that our sessions are gonna have to be writing to std out somehow. So we're gonna have to do like std out into, I guess, some memory or file, some storage, let's call it like that. Fuck, I don't know whether current harnesses do any fully end-to-end encryption. I wonder whether we should encrypt these things, right? As you're chatting to an agent. Okay, let me ask AI. Does Claude Code or any other harness encrypt the session data? Things that get saved so you can recover by doing continue. No, I'm not, man, I'm not talking about HTTPS. Are you crazy? Come on. I'm not talking about transport protocol. I'm talking whether the session data is stored encrypted fully. Do you guys have open source events? I don't know, man. I'm a metalhead. I typically go to Copenhagen and metal festivals. So I'm more of a... yeah. You know, I'm just thinking that this is a problem in a way, right? Wouldn't you say that just plainly storing files, session files, wouldn't you guys say this is a problem? Because I mean, people paste environmental variables in their sessions. They paste all sorts of crap, right? That's also true, Purple Core. That's also true, man. That is true. It will just slow it down if you encrypt it. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. No, I don't think so. I mean, it would slow it down to decrypt it when you want to continue the session, right? But I don't necessarily think that it would slow it down while you're in the session, right? Because what you see in your terminal and what gets saved are different things, right? So yes, it would slow it down when you say, I want to continue. Then you would have to decrypt that, right? And I would say that these decryptions algorithms, they are incredibly efficient, right? So I don't think that would... it's just I'm thinking like you're doing this, your whole sessions are stored in a raw format, right? No, I mean, right now we're talking about the harness that I'm building, and our harness is not going to store any data on the cloud, right? We're talking just about the tooling. So this is not really, I don't know also why this guy is talking about the cloud. I mean, these sessions are not stored, let's say if we're talking about Anthropic, these sessions are stored on your own computer, not in the cloud, right? But just because they're stored on your computer doesn't mean that that's not a security concern. Because if any tool or anything else just is able to, you know, just even remotely run some tooling against your sessions, and you have, you know, I mean, you can see what was happening with NPM past couple of months or a year, right? Like I literally, when I built Boring Stack, right? I literally, because of GitHub, I'm sorry, I literally because of them, I had to put in supply chain protection, right? So it's literally because of these issues, I had to ensure that we have supply chain protection, and one of the protection mechanisms is not allowing bumps of dependencies that are at least, they have to be at least 1 week old, right? So I'm just thinking if these things, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably not relevant since they're not doing it themselves, probably not relevant. I just feel that any session data that's kind of private in a way should be encrypted, right? And again, this guy's talking about transfer protocol. I'm talking about, okay, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that we should die, the hill we should die on right now, but yeah, exactly. I mean, it sounds incredibly silly, but it's not silly, right? Because one wrong npm install, one wrong, like, do it like today when you build a project, whether it's Go or nodejs or whatever, some UI crap, you say npm install and you're like, fuck yeah, that's 600 megabytes, right? So it's you know, like, it's weird. It's weird that others are not doing it. So we can learn something out of it. We can either learn that it's not necessary because others are not doing it, or we can derive that they don't care, which is less likely, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see, we're gonna see, actually we're gonna, I mean, look, I'm building a harness from scratch, so nobody can disallow me to do this, right? So we can actually do some tests. We can try fully encrypting it and then see whether it affects the user experience or not. Because security should be #1 principle of any engineer. Doesn't matter what type of engineer, mechanical, electrical, programmer, like, should be a first-class citizen always. Defensive programming, defense in depth, like, this should be our obsession. We literally owe this to ourselves and others. The font is this. Okay, actually, we just want to review this a little bit here.
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
Thank you very much for your follows, guys. I appreciate that. Dimmy, hey buddy, good to see you. No, I mean, I get you, right? The thing is, so that is the thing with security, right? Security, like, the way that I love to build my software is that security is never a matter of discussion, right? It's like, of course, it's hard to disagree with you because reasoning can go many ways, right? And many things can be true at the same times, right? And they always are. It's rarely, nothing is, things are rarely absolute, right? It's just, I think, once you start compromising on these things, okay, let's imagine now that we don't encrypt the data. Actually, let me rephrase. I think that our first intuition should be, let's encrypt the data, like 100%, no questions asked. Then we realize that because of that encryption, now it takes 3 seconds when the user says whatever, binary / continue. And then you say, well, you know, we're gonna not encrypt the data because user is waiting for 3 seconds. Then you say, fuck, what's more important, that user waits for 3 seconds on a command that anybody barely ever runs, or that their data is just prone to, I mean, you know, we live in an AI world, man, where majority of the apps you install today on your computer, they're AI generated, right? I mean, half of these people don't even know what the fuck is written there, right? So I would say that in an AI era of software that hasn't ever been such a low quality in history of programming, I think encrypting everything at the very least is a smart thing to do, right? That's kind of my assessment right now. And that's why literally this boring stack that I recently assembled resembles that. Just 3-4 layers of defense always. Just defensive programming. Yes, irritational, a lot of code, but you know, you don't want to mess with a statistical engine writing the code. Have you seen some of the programs that were around in the 80s?
New follower detected. Programmer network updated.
I mean, I think it's just different era, right? I'm not suggesting that code has ever been perfect. There's no such thing. Code has always sucked to some degree, depending how you look at it, right? It's just today the amount of code, the amount of things that people try, the mere we're like, I don't know if you saw a graph. Let me show you. GitHub code amount graph or whatever. Let me show you what I'm trying to convey.
Programmer network updated.
I'll find it in a second. Give me a moment. Just to understand what my. Thank you very much, guys, for your whatever. But I'm gonna share something with you.
Programmer network updated.
Just to try to like explain my argumentation here. Oh yeah, found it. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Look at this. Come on. What's happening? So look at this thing here. One moment. How do I, man? What is this crap? Okay. So look at this. The tsunami of tech enablement. AI equipped or AI native. The blue is where you are. The red is where the wave is going. So look at this. So in 2026, we are on a pace to hit 14 billion commits. 275 million per week, driven almost entirely by AI agents, right? Fuck, I'm covering it. Okay, sorry. That makes total sense. Give me 1 second. Do you guys see it? So look at this. 2018, 2020, 2022. We are on... No, I mean purple, I don't blame you. I'm not far away from it. I use AI every day. And I'm not the problem. I've been writing code for, and you most likely for many years, right? So I know how to judge my code. It's still, I mean, my AI generated code is still the same code I wrote 10 years ago. It's just AI is taking my own code and making a replica of it, right? But when you look at this graph, you can just imagine that the amount of software that we're going to be consuming and building just goes to absurdity level, right? So I think this graph itself has to scream security, right? Because God knows probably half of this, 70-80% of this code is generated by people writing lovable, more power to them, more power to code accessibility. I'm not against it. But this brings a level of accountability, right? So I think defensive programming and security as a first-class citizen has to become a standard because of this crap here, right? I mean, it's absurd. Yeah, true, very true, yes. Exactly. No, I genuinely mean it. More power to people. I mean, if you have an idea, go for it. I mean, I'm not jealous. I'm not against it. I'm not worried that I'm not threatened by a journalist writing lovable, right? I don't care. They're not the group of people that I'm worried about, right? Because I remember when I was a lot younger, we had Micromedia, Fireworks, Micromedia, Dreamweaver. We had things before as well, right? So, but Okay, let's now test this. Okay, let's test it. So we're gonna run our binary. We're gonna run our own harness. So this is our own harness now. Okay, let's say write a write a simple React component that renders an admonition. Okay. Okay, here it is. Here it is, very good. Very happy with that, and then I'm gonna kill this, okay? Then I'm gonna do this again, and I'm gonna say dash dash. I'm gonna, no. Yes, and then I'm gonna say dash dash continue. Yeah, but we didn't continue to the session. Where is our session? I'd expect to see the list of messages when I dash dash continue. And then I want to actually attempt to encrypt this crap, right, somehow. And then I want to see whether it lags or not. And I'm going to go and generate like massive wall of text and then see how encryption works there. And maybe we can learn something more about some maybe more efficient encryption algorithms or whatever for larger data sets. I don't know. I mean, if your operating system can encrypt the whole hard drive, then I see no problem encrypting a markdown file, right? But let's see. I have no idea. Is there some tutorial or... I mean, no, not really, man. Not really. This is an aggregate of all the things. The tutorial is just playing with things, man. Being curious, right? None of this is really... all of this is just a summary of fundamental systems of software design. I'm using Claude and Superpower for a job, but I want to try these local ones. Snail, I mean, give me a couple of weeks. Then I will, I mean, if I manage to achieve my OKRs here, objectives and key results that I set up for this side thing, then I will be very happy to make a super long YouTube video, because this is something that you could say doesn't exist, at least this specific thing I started building, like specialized model for a TypeScript stack and specialized harness. So if I manage to do this, of course I'm going to share it on social media. Okay, let me write that comment. Thank you very much. That's good to know. I'm not an expert in encryption. I mostly encrypt passwords and PII data. I never needed, to be very frank with you, to encrypt massive large files, right? I have also built apps throughout my career with full end-to-end encryption, but this typically included smaller articles like blog posts and stuff like that, notes, private notes, and stuff like that. So by no means I know much about cryptography and stuff like that. I do not know. But I would like to know more. But you know, can't know it all. It just takes a massive amount of time. I've moved to using Kimi to... I have tried Kimi as well, honestly. Yeah, I have tried that via OpenRouter as well. And now my Hermes is running on DeepSeek. Okay, so now we're back. Okay. Okay, now create a button with couple of variants as well. Okay. Use Tailwind CSS for the button Never again don't you dare to use inline styles. Are we back in the 90s? Okay. User is upset about inline styles and wants, yes, they're being aggressive. What the fuck? I'm being aggressive? What is this, man, model? We need to change the model, guys. We need to change the model. What the fuck is that, bro? Have I been aggressive? What is this age that we live on? What? Dude, the model is highly, like, seeking to get offended. Jesus Christ, man. The fuck is this, bro? Where is it? User is upset, okay? They're being aggressive. The fuck, bro? I wasn't aggressive at all, man. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ, man. We need to fine-tune this model. This is unacceptable. Now I'm becoming aggressive. Fuck you, bitch. Jesus Christ, man. The fuck are you talking about, man? I wasn't aggressive at all. I was just being a little bit sarcastic there, you know. And I am deeply sorry for hurting your little feelings. I wonder if it's gonna understand that this is sarcasm as well. The user is apologizing for their previous message where they were quite harsh. Bro! What? Look at this, man. User is apologizing for previous message where they were quite harsh about my use of inline styles. The fuck, bro? I wasn't... They're being playful, sarcastic about hurting my feelings. As an AI, I don't have feelings. Okay, cool. Well, I mean... Can I, like... Fuck. Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, actually, fuck it, guys. Okay, I have so many ideas now. It's okay. Alright, so let's now go to... Where are our sessions stored? I mean, this was awesome. I was just impressed. Why are you being harsh, Alex? The hell, man? I wasn't harsh at all. I just said, like, man, it's not 90s. That's all I said. Okay. Where are our sessions stored? I really want to figure out whether we should encrypt things or not, right? Okay, interesting. I like that. Very good. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Sure. Okay. Let's go into this. Okay, right. So if we... What the hell is happening? So, okay. So you see, like, this is raw session, right? This is how they're saved. Yeah, I don't like that, man. I mean, for example, now if somebody found this file, they would know how harsh I am, right? And how rude I am, right? So you want to burn some CPU? I mean, I don't know, honestly, man. I want to figure it out. I mean, again, I'm not a cryptographic genius or anything like that. So let's ask the only capable person in this room, and that is the AI. Okay. So I am worried that these sessions are stored in their raw form and that they are not encrypted. I also asked ChatGPT whether, for example, Claude encrypts them, and the answer was no. I find this illogical, especially due to various recent attacks and user data being exposed, especially the fact that during sessions, users share their API keys, passwords, etc. I think you can't blame me. I think this is fairly reasonable concern I have, right? I think that's fairly reasonable. How relevant is the new NVIDIA AI infra courses? Which are those? I haven't. Did they release some course? Can you share, please? Is it this? AI infrastructure and operations fundamentals. Yeah, I think I found it most likely, but let's see. Register for an exam, okay. But I guess, yeah, so this is the exam, I suppose, and then study guide. Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is a terrible investment. I think a necessity for this is gonna probably grow over time. So I guess this is the learning material, I suppose, right?
To the immense, I provide AI infrastructure, AI operations, and the evolution of GPU computing and its contribution to the AI revolution. Evaluate the NVIDIA hardware and software solutions for AI. Identify the data center infrastructure building blocks.
I mean, honestly, I mean, I could spend $150. And we could do this even in the streams and just learn. I mean, this is probably super basic shit because based on here. Okay, I mean, evaluate NVIDIA hardware. This is very specific to them. Course prerequisites, none. Course outline, introduction to AI. Generative AI. You know, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems very basic, but interesting. No, I have to think a little bit. I don't think this is a terrible idea because NVIDIA is running the world now, right? So they're probably releasing this so they can hire relevant people, right? So it's almost like we need to prepare the world Okay, interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that. I haven't seen that before. Okay, let's get back here. I want to hear what Claude thinks about my legitimate concern and worth being precise about, because the intuitive fix encrypt the file is weaker than it sounds and a different fix is actually stronger. The honest threat model. App level encryption only helps against threats where the attacker can read the file. Well, no shit, right? Okay, fair point. I can't disagree. So the key storage problem is the cracks. Encrypt with a local key file mostly buys you backup sync protection. The stronger move, don't store the secrets at all. True, yes. Redact API keys, tokens, passwords from messages before they're written. That shrinks the blast radius, blah, blah. What I'd actually ship. What I would actually redacted secrets on save, regex, scrub sk, bear, AWS, password, ch mode. Actually, I agree with this 100%. I agree with this 100%. 100% I agree with this, yes. And we will do this, yes. Where is it, man? Where's my, what is happening, okay? Come on, dude. What is this bullshit, man? Yes, okay, that puts me at ease a bit, yes. But okay, I mean, honestly, like I'm pretty happy. I think we made some good progress here, and our harness is slowly working. We can see that our model is generating stuff. Of course, there's going to be a huge level of tests on more complex projects and stuff like that. Let me actually do one now. Let's open a different session here. I'm gonna say make directory test. Make directory stream harness test. And then I'm gonna run our own harness here. So we're gonna run it. Ah, shit, we can't run it this way. We have to do like, no, actually we can, okay. Let's say, I don't know, build a fully typed to-do app. In TypeScript, Tailwind CSS that I can render inside an HTML file. Let's see. This is our own local model. Let's see how much it fails, because this is probably, even though this is pretty simple, this is probably the hardest task I gave it so far. And then I'll go ahead here and go stream harness test. I'm gonna open this in, actually we can't, but I'm gonna maybe, okay, let's see. I'll make a clean fully typed to-do app with add blah blah. Let's see if it's gonna, okay. I just think it stopped now. Okay, never mind, it's working, okay. Okay, it created a bunch of files, sure. Okay. Okay, All right, let's see whether that works. Can I do something like this? Yeah. Okay, this is what it built. Let's see if it works. Nah, I don't think it works. Yeah, it most likely fucked up and this is why we need playwright, right, as part of the thing, because it. But I mean, okay. I mean, honestly, it is our own harness, and that wasn't completely terrible, I guess. If we if we go and check the code, I mean, it is it type safe? Let's see. It's actually doing some manual casting. Fucking sucks. But okay, it's okay. Of course, I also didn't give it any spec or anything. I just said build something, so that is fine. Oh man, okay. It's almost 2 a.m. guys. I don't know if you're in the US or somewhere else, but let's round it up. And then hopefully very soon we hack together again. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. What can I say? I need to go and sleep. 4 p.m. Yeah, exactly. It's 2 a.m. here, so I think I'm gonna go and head off and yeah, just get some sleep. Need to help my wife tomorrow and kids. But thank you guys, Kirill, Phil, and everybody. Purple Core, good to meet you, man. Thank you very much for being here, and likewise, Kirill, man. I appreciate you so much. You know that already. So yeah, good night, guys. Thank you very much. Have an amazing rest of the day or evening, and likewise. And you know, if I have the time tomorrow, I have to take care of my kids and stuff. My wife is going somewhere, but and I will dance with my wife tomorrow. I'll literally say there's this guy on the stream, he asked me to, so I'll do that. Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for your time, for your participation, and for making it fun for me. And I appreciate that a lot. So good night, everybody, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.